Longevity and locality. Many of these businesses have been open for decades, but operating in a financial climate where chancellors sometimes only last weeks and some economic policies only last days, how challenging is it to keep the doors open? Well, Becky, it's been only 18 hours since Staffordshire entered Tier 2. It began at midnight and was due to last for 14 days. However, we anticipate that what the Prime Minister has to say in a few minutes' time will override any regional or local lockdowns. The decision to put Staffordshire in Tier 2 was made because of how quickly the virus is spreading in this area. Some 288 cases per 100,000 people.
On All Hallows Eve, so tradition tells, souls who've left this earth may return. But wasn't Halloween 2019 meant to be all about a departure?
We are coming out of the EU on October the 31st in all circumstances. Come on, Beck.
On March the 29th, the date when the UK was first set to leave the EU, the seed which has grown to this pumpkin wasn't yet even planted. But now Halloween is here, it's fully grown, and the UK is still in the EU. It's been 4 harvests since the referendum, and what agricultural businesses want to know is, will there be yet another before Brexit? Elsewhere in Stoke-on-Trent, 2/3 of people voted leave, but 2 out of 3 of the city's MPs are Labour. So could they lose their seats to candidates from parties offering a harder line on Brexit? Dudley North is another seat which will be a key target for the parties, as I've been finding out. Dudley North, home to the castle, the zoo and until recently a Labour MP. Ian Austin beat the Conservatives by just 22 votes in the 2017 general election. This February he quit Labour to go independent. As the most marginal seat in the West Midlands, Dudley North will no doubt be a stop on the tour of the political circus. But today, the real circus has beat the politicians to it. I wonder, come December the 13th, will Dudley, like this tent, be draped in blue?
I'm guessing that all this speculation won't really be welcome if it's seen to overshadow the Conservative Party conference, which is currently going on at the moment.
No, senior Conservatives certainly won't have wanted HS2 and speculation around it to become such a prominent theme around the conference. Yesterday, Downing Street took the step to issue a statement to deny the rumours that Phase 2, that's north from Birmingham to Manchester, could be scrapped.
And now we can speak to Emma Thomas in Cannock Chase in Staffordshire, has gone from no overall control to the Conservatives. That's a very big moment as well, Emma Thomas, because that's exactly the kind of seat that, in Westminster terms, that Labour would have to win if they want to get back to power. They had 50% of the vote in 2005, and they're nowhere.
Yes, well, in the words of one Labour councillor speaking to me after today's result, he said, there is no sugarcoating it, this is a disaster for Labour. Now, this authority was created in the early 70s, and for most of those nearly 5 decades, it's been under Labour's control, either with a party enjoying majority status or, as was most recently, in a minority status. Now, it is fair to say the Conservatives have had some recent electoral success here. There's been a Conservative MP for the last 11 years, and in the early noughties, the Conservatives and the Liberal Democrats formed a coalition to lead the council. However, today's stampeding result means that the Conservatives can, for the first time in this authority's history, lead the council without the need of help from any other party. Food inflation rates have slowed in recent weeks. However, the cost of filling a family fridge remains still far more expensive than during the last school summer holidays. In fact, according to the British Retail Consortium, the average prices in shops are now 7.6% higher. The success of the nighttime economy is also crucial to a healthy employment rate here in the West Midlands, as currently in the region 29% of people employed have jobs in this sector.
Reporter Emma Thomas is in Westminster for us this evening. So, Emma, lively I would imagine, but what's the mood been like there today?
It's been noisy, it's been colourful, it's been conflicted. These crowds of protesters have become a permanent fixture here in Westminster, shouting slogans from megaphones for both the Leave and Remain campaign. I'm told it's been just as noisy inside the House of Commons today, with one Midlands MP telling me he'd almost lost his voice from shouting. So here's a flavour of what the mood is like in Westminster. That's what they want, but today is all about what MPs want, to find a Brexit deal they can vote for.
It's one of the hardest things you have to go through. You shouldn't have to be told that you've lost a baby on your own.
Campaigners lobbied for change. In December, NHS England declared that pregnant women have the right to take someone to every appointment and urged all trusts to allow it. But many still are not. I've contacted trusts across the Midlands, which has revealed inconsistency. Some allow partners to every appointment, some to just one scan, and some to none at all, meaning many women are still receiving letters warning them to attend alone. It is, Nick. It's a divisive issue which has triggered an outpouring of public reaction. The Conservative MP for Wolverhampton South West, Stuart Anderson, has spoken of how both he and his family members have received death threats after he voted last week against handing out free school meals to children during half-term. Some of his colleagues in the Conservative Party have had their offices vandalised. Here in Walsall, the Conservative Council told me they do support low-income families throughout the year, just through other means. Duncan Edwards' hometown is sitting comfortably in the top 6 of a less popular sort of league table, that of COVID-19 infection rates, with cases here in Dudley among some of the highest in all of the UK.
Let's talk about Labour, because some are saying, it's a complete collapse of the vote. How are they assessing their losses tonight?
Not a good day at all. In some cases losing seats, in other cases losing control of councils altogether. Now, earlier today we spoke to Jess Phillips, the Labour MP. She gave us her analysis as to why she thinks her party's losing the support of some key voters. This lunchtime, BBC Midlands Today reported that 27,000 people had signed a petition supporting the family's appeal against the decision blocking them from keeping their home. After our broadcast, Sanctuary Housing contacted the BBC and Courtney with a change of decision, using what they describe as their compassionate discretion to allow the siblings to keep their home.
Speechless. You're just over the moon, aren't you? Yeah. I can't even express how we feel. Like, we are feeling on top of the world.
Well, Mary, we're told that this evening the Prime Minister Boris Johnson will deliver a speech somewhere in the Midlands. Meanwhile, Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn kick-started his campaigning in Shropshire at a university campus today. Both leaders demonstrating how key a battleground the Midlands region really is for them. I would not be surprised if over the next 5 weeks we see more of politicians on university campuses, as student support can be really decisive. As a tenant, Mr. Edgar has been moved back into his home, but he's surrounded by thousands of flies. He has no working bathroom, no toilet, and as he says, no confidence that the problem has been resolved.
The fact that somebody can treat one of their tenants like this, that is more hurting than anything.
Capturing a moment in electoral history, a chorus of Conservatives celebrating claiming Cannock Chase District Council as theirs to control. Cannock Chase District Council has been under Labour's control for the majority of its history. Today that control was lost and it's now in the hands of the Conservatives without any need for a coalition. And we found the evidence abandoned outside the district's recycling centre. In November, Staffordshire County Council introduced charges for certain items at its tips, including the tip the other side of this gate. Things such as £3 for a bag of rubble, £4 for a tyre, but the authority says there's no evidence to suggest that charges increase fly tipping.
I don't know whether I'd like to see one, but I do think there will be one.
Do you think we could get another general election this year?
Yes, don't you?
How long we'll have to wait until the next polling day may be unconfirmed. But given how the general election of 2017 will be remembered in the history books, perhaps this street will be more aptly renamed Corbyn Close.